With the introduction of a lot of new poison cards, the new Mirage, and Aeon Glass in general, I guess, I think it's long overdue that Silent got an updated over-explained run. This character went from a character that basically none of the top players were finding very interesting to a really cool puzzle to figure out. So I myself wanted to practice anyways, and I think it was about time. If you have any questions about any specific decisions or want anything explained in more detail, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I did this offline and off stream just so I could focus a bit more, but that has the downside of not having people ask questions during the run. So we can do it now. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the comment section and see you next time. Okay, I wanted to do another Silent over-explain. I am doing this off stream this time because I think, while it is good to have questions get asked, it's a little distracting to both be answering questions and also trying to explain everything. And this way I can sort of take my time and do things at my own pace as well. But yeah, I'll try to be as informative as possible in every decision here. Basically, immediately, I almost always just slam Leafy Poultice. I think this is probably just still the strongest Niao, basically on every single map. And we don't have to think too hard about it. No reason to completely ignore it, however, so let's just look at the map and see what looks reasonable. We can react off the transforms. Almost immediately, I'm drawn to this early shop here with this Spire afterwards. So it sort of looks like we can do this path, get 2 elites. I don't think there's a 3 elite path on this, but there's a lot of campfires. So we can maybe take some greedier cards, and that would mean we can heal, or we can upgrade the said greedy cards that might require an upgrade. The other path to get 3 elites is basically nonsense, it looks like. There's essentially no fires. So yeah, you can do 3 elites if you take no fires. But I think Transform 2 is high enough value that I just don't care. There's also Wing Boots, maybe, if you say that, but I don't think over Transform 2 you ever click that. Wing Boots, and maybe you would jump here, and then ride this up. Maybe jump here. But yeah, seems kind of like nonsense. This is essentially a brick. I don't think it's really worth playing around it to make it work. And I think it's important after every transform that you kind of consider what it's doing to your deck and what you want to do about it, basically. And so, like, removing a defend, essentially, to add Corrosive Wave is essentially just adding a curse. But is this something worth playing around in the current stage of the game? Not really. If I want to click the draw cards anyways, like Count Gamble, Backflip, Acro, that's all going to be good regardless. So I don't need to necessarily play around this, but it can do something. It's not worth, like, removing. And, like, Gambler's Brew can do something as well. Whale is just a standalone good card. We can just pretend this is just defend plus, essentially. Blocks way more than that. And I think we always click here. Whether or not we go to the hallway or not is a different question. I don't think there's really any reason why we would have gone right here. Maybe you say you do like this, but I think we want at least 2 fights. And then you can say that you get a question mark fight, maybe. That's bad because you get too many advanced hallways, but yeah. I think we can cover for that by going to this question mark, and then if this question mark's a fight or this question mark's a fight, it's not likely that the other one is also a fight. It's 1% chance. Not a ton to talk about here, and I do have this nice little mod here to show enemy intents on screen, so I think this will be really helpful. But basically, when planning this fight here, you want to think about the next turn, because this turn's covered, right? Next turn is going to look like multi-hit into big hit here. And the problem with this is if we kill the guy that's big hitting, the multi-hit gets buffed to a really unreasonable number, and we are frail. The good thing here, however, is we do have Piercing Whale. Unfortunately, I don't think we ever get lethal next turn, so it's mostly looking like we hope to draw Piercing Whale. If you bottom deck it, then our turn is kind of bad. So really what we're doing is playing for 3rd turn kill here, and not planning around 2nd turn kill ever. So essentially evaluating whatever the 3rd turn worst case scenario is, which is this guy attacking, right? So we can just do this. Hopefully Piercing Whale, we do draw it. Very good. Just play hand. There's no threshold by playing Newt here except for the Newt redraw. And here, 3 strikes, plus Newt doesn't really do anything. So I guess we just do this. And if we draw neutralize, we are happy. If not, we waste damage, but that's okay. We do draw the kill. The thing is, we can also block here as well, because next turn it looks like our block is very bad and we do not have lethal. So once again, Just kind of planning on future turns. I think this is the fight with the most amount of micro inside of the easy pools for sure. Like even here, I don't want to kill because then this thing next turn hits me really hard while I'm frail. So I'm better off just sort of doing this and then leaving this low. And I only take one here. It's possible you could have gotten out of this fight deathless. I think this is guaranteed now, right? Unfortunately, we only draw one strike, but I think this is guaranteed. You always draw 2 strikes and 1. Exactly what we got here. You either draw the strike or you draw neutralize and both kill. Okay. These are kind of bad cards. I can see Flick Flack being a thing with Piercing Well basically being a remove, right? And so Survivor lines up more often. I'm more likely to want to click Acro with the Corrosive Wave. And I would click it anyways, but also small deck. Aside from that, you can click Sucker Punch if you want a damage card, but I think we just take our first AoE card here. It's not so bad. Corrosive Wave is an AoE card, but not really. I'm not super happy. You can also argue for skip, saying that you're going to the store and you can make your deck much better than this, which I could also see being a thing. We want to be able to take this first lead no matter what, so we kind of have to brute force it. The eels would be quite bad with the current deck, so I think I will respect the eels a bit. We'll take the question mark. Ooh. This curse is very hard to carry, but the thing about the map is that it probably allows us to do it. The potion is very good at forcing the elite. So if you believe in the shop to force the elite, you don't necessarily need to click it. So like in theory, we can carry this. The curse is worse than normal. Given that the deck is smaller than normal due to transform and removes are better, right? I think I don't take this. I'm down to lose my HP. This potion's not super good, but maybe it can line up Flip Flack. I would not pay 8 life for that normally. I don't think there's too much to describe in terms of micro here, so I will just do the full block line. If there's other considerations, we will talk about it. Exhausting Piercing Whale. Next turn I want to draw Neutralize. Yeah, unfortunately this, I guess Snack Oil works with Corrosive Wave. That's a cool combo. Okay, we kind of die here. Unlucky. You could do this. It's a lot of HP. I'm kind of down. And the eels, that is definitely a good thing, but we have Flick Flack, right? Like that one time is really, really strong, but 15 HP is a lot. Deflect here, not helping our damage like at all. But this is Underdogs. Value block a bit more. Kind of a bad draw into Laga as well. Just low impact. Not exactly super happy with these card rewards, or the transforms really. Which is kind of good. I'd rather the run be more difficult. I think the Sucker Punch needs the upgrade, and with a deck this small, I'd rather just upgrade the Neutralize and sort of loop that. Deflect is not super interesting to me. I think this is just skip. Dagger Spray is a little bit redundant with Flick Flack, and also bricks it more often. Okay, this shop is pretty bad as well, unfortunately. Would love to buy Alchemize here. Cannot. I guess we could have gone here to dodge said shop, but I think I always check this. So this is pretty horrendous. These pots don't really do a whole lot in terms of solving the fights as well. Finesse plus block pot. Is that purchasable? No. I'm thinking of kind of a weird line here, but I think we are extremely desperate for damage. And I'm willing to click literally any Shiv card. So I think I buy Phantom Blade speculatively here. Deck is in a very bad position. And this also means, unfortunately, I cannot buy this, but that is okay. I would like to add a card that doesn't necessarily become completely useless in the end game. So adding something like Flick Flack or Dagger Spray is like kind of comparable now, but does not have a higher ceiling. And we need to eventually kill the boss somehow. So I don't know if I can even get out of the elite alive. I think with HP, we are okay. Like with Flick Flack and Whale, I imagine that the elite does not kill me. It's going to be ugly. We're essentially killing it with strikes. You can buy Draw Pot here to work with Corrosive Wave, which is a real thought. It's actually like a damage potion. It's essentially a Fire Pot over 4 turns. But that is still good enough, I think, with this current situation. I need to fight the elite. I think dodging here is completely unacceptable. The axe value is too low and the deck is too bad. It's actually very good we got a fight here, by the way. Because we get the easy pool. Basically, if you took here and then got the fight here, you're going to get destroyed because this deck cannot fight hard pools at all. But having an easy pool here is great. No real micro to talk about here. We will hold on to Piercing Wail. This fight's going to go a while. And hopefully we get any sort of shift card here. That'd be like the best thing we can see. Really, I will take a lot of things, though. I'm pretty desperate. Fortunately, having Piercing Wail here would be nice. Don't need it, though. 10 full block. Next turn, we should kill most of the time. 3 strikes or 2 strikes plus strike. If not, we don't actually die, and then hopefully we kill this turn. Yes. Here's Pinpoint. That's immediately clicked. You can say Cloak and Dagger with Phantom Blades is better. It is a better upgrade for sure. That is for sure something. Because then you get 2 turns of Phantom Blades, and that's a lot of damage. So I actually could see that. It's also a block card. And the deck would appreciate an extra block card as well. Yeah, I guess after Cloak and Dagger, or after Phantom Blades is down, the Pinpoint is just worse, basically. And I have a lot of upgrades to give. We can upgrade like Neutralize, Cloak, Phantom Blades, maybe? Okay, maybe I rescind my initial comments. Just go ahead and take this. Okay. We can consider draw potting here. Getting Phantom Blades down early, also getting Corrosive Poison ticking early is really good. I don't want to be sitting around in this fight. We do not block well, so I think I just do this and we jam. Very funny. We line up Flick-Clack at least. And yeah, after this point, no real micro to talk about. Poison does go through the cap here. So we can do more damage. The Piercing Wail redraw is very meaningful here in this fight, on the multi-hit especially. So I think I just pay my life here to exhaust this card. Basically, I get rid of 1 curse for -6 HP and also keep the Wail redraw around. Unfortunately, it gets drawn here, which doesn't do anything. But you can see how important the draw pot was in terms of pushing damage. And the idea was hopefully that Wail was very strong here. Again, no lines to really talk about here. Hopefully we draw lethal. Flick-Flack would do it. That also does it. Okay. Liquid Memory's Toxic Egg. Insane. I guess you can look at the card before you select the egg, just in case for some reason you don't want this to be upgraded, but Anticipate Plus is more than good enough, I think. Accelerant is here. That doesn't do anything because our Corrosive Wave doesn't actually work. So yeah, I'll take my Anticipate. I think the important takeaway from this run so far is that if you do not understand the value of taking something speculatively, like a Phantom Blades pickup, then your deck is a lot worse here. But a core concept in Spire is kind of this like curse tolerance idea, where you can pick up something that doesn't necessarily do anything now if your deck is capable of handling it. And in this case, the deck is capable of handling it because the path is like this, right? And we can even go like this to dodge 1 more fight. So I guess it's just better. But yeah, the idea is that like, because the path is the way that it is, I'm allowed to pick up this thing and it makes the rest of the run significantly easier if I see something. If you never give yourself any chances to see something that would instantly make your deck broken, like if you're not just 1 card away from being broken, it's way less likely you're going to actually ever end up being broken. So the idea is that we put ourselves 1 card away from being very strong. And now I get to upgrade this. And suddenly our deck has damage and can actually fight the hard pools. Otherwise, this fight is very difficult. Okay. This is a pretty rough fight in general. I'm heavily considering floating these shivs around because it's hard I guess it's not that hard to play Cloak and Dagger later. Don't know if the redraw is that good, but I will have Phantom Blades played. Fortunately, Flickflack is not upgraded, so it will not kill the guy. It's worth considering floating these around. I think I will. Maybe float 1. I don't want to reach a situation where I have like 3 shivs in hand. And want to play 1 a turn, right? But I like exhaust them all. That would be the bad situation. Okay. Can kill. I think it's better here to deploy Phantom Blades. If we don't do that, we never get out of here. So like I could kill, play Whale. But I think I can just play Whale, accept 3 damage. And then choose to play this here instead. To make more progress. Okay, here's a Shiv redraw, as promised. And this is hopefully just Cloak and Dagger or something. That is horrendous. We do have a fire, so we can rest at 1. Again, this is the map allowing us to do this sort of thing. Oh, yeah, quite rough. Bad draw here. I don't want to use the potion. That's just for the elite, basically. Fumes is here. Okay, that's killing the boss. That's insanely good. You could say Leading Strike or something, but I think the Fumes is just way too good, and it will become green here. Parrying Shield. We can rest here because we might get owned in the question mark by a hallway, and then we could die. And with Toxic Egg and the Fumes now, I feel pretty safe about the endgame of this run. So not looking to take too much immediate risk. I think this is an amount of gold that is worth taking, though. This is a lot of gold. And it is immediately good inside of early Act 2, which is where this deck probably wants a lot of help. 2 potions here. The biggest issue is if I do not get Neutralized Green and Fumes Green, we might have issues actually blocking. And this is making it way more likely that I cannot do that. I think Neutralize gets upgraded first because Liquid Memories can pull it back for more weakness. But Fumes needs to be green for the boss. Okay, I will not greed here. Okay. I want to take the elite basically no matter what. With potions, I feel more okay. But I think it's kind of dangerous the hallway looming. I think Neutralize needs to be green though. Okay, here's Phantom Blade's Cloak. That is just always played, I think, no matter what, even if it costs me HP. And then we can think. The Fumes may not actually need to be deployed at minus, I think. I'd rather get Parrying Shield, I'm pretty sure. So I think I just block and play 1 Shiv like here. We have a Piercing Whale incoming and could just Memories at some point. If you want to, you can Vuln Pot here, because I don't think the Vuln Pot's that important in Lagavulin. And we just need to make sure this guy dies, and Vuln Pot would do it. It's a lot of damage, 19. The next Shiv would kill. I think the key issue here, however, is that we probably need to Memories as well. Because once the Shivs are played, we don't really have damage anymore. So damage for like 2 turns. And then after that, it kind of goes down the gutter because Fumes is not deployed. So I could see also having to play Fumes here being correct. But I think at minus, it's not. Parrying Shields is kind of just doing the same thing. And we can Liquid Memories back the thing. I guess I can always just Vuln Pot next turn. Because there's not really a threshold that makes this work, right? Like, I do 19 and then Flick Flack would be 10. So we're 1 off. So I guess I just Vuln Pot next turn if I need to. If not, we try to hold it for... Yeah, it's unfortunate. Because if I draw Whale, I'm just, like, fine on every turn. And this turn, I'm, like, relatively okay as well. This could be a Memories for the Cloak again. Next turn is usually full block, but I would like to push damage a bit more. So this turn is like Defend Survivor for Parrying Shield, and then we need to block 5. We don't need to block 5, but it's good too. I can Vuln Pot to kill and then play block. instead. Because memories is better into Lagavulin, I would say, and next turn is full blocked already. Damage is just not very good next turn. We don't make much progress without pulling the thing back now. So I think I will pull it back now. It's very likely we see some like random upgraded skill, and that's very strong as well. So this is just discard strike. Play this, and we can put a strike somewhere. I think the guy that's buffing is the most dangerous now. That wants to die next. Fortunately, I'm really missing on the parrying shield. I'm getting super lucky with that. Here's Flick Flack though. That is just always played, right? We always have energy for this, so we can just play this and then see. Piercing Will can be skipped here. We full block now by doing weakness here. It does use a little bit of damage, so I'm not sure I want to do that. So I could choose to not play a Shiv here, because this is always happening. The only question is where you put damage, essentially. Weakness will full block either way, like no matter where I put it. So if I just want to do 17 damage, we can, and then Shiv will kill next turn. I think that's correct. And then that dies to 1 hit next turn, and then we have the Piercing Will redraw. Here's Cloak. And we definitely just kill. Can deploy Fumes for fun. And Parrying Shield got us. Okay. That's a kill. Let's use our Parrying Shield again. This guy's dead now. Okay. Pretty good fight. Ship in a Bottle is excellent. Sparkling Rouge is excellent. Phantom Blade's number 2. I don't think we care as much. We don't have that many shivs to warrant this. Drawing it early doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, no scales with a Toxic Egg, but the Ship in a Bottle is extremely strong. And I think with Fumes, we're okay on damage here. The problem is going to be blocking, but this definitely helps. And anticipates here as well. Not really any lines to talk about here, just playing what makes sense. Okay, we have Sparkling Rouge now. You can see it's just full blocking for us. Very solid. Here comes the Parrying Shield. And at this amount of HP, it's very, very safe to just upgrade. Remember to play blocks here for Parrying Shield. And just kill. Okay, here's Powdered Demise. Blade Dance is here. Excellent. Okay, yeah, we toss this. We basically say that's never going to do more damage than Powdered Demise. And we upgrade Fumes. And now the Laga should die. We don't use this immediately. Let's just like deploy powers and sort of wait. Unfortunately, that doesn't exhaust. Piercing Will is a good redraw. I'm just going to wait till I draw Fumes. If I don't draw Fumes, then sucks to suck. I don't think we rip this Blade Dance here. It is a little too awkward, unfortunately, to hold that many cards in hand. Okay, Fumes is here. We must go in now, so we're going to throw this. I'm going to respect it a little bit. Unfortunately, I cannot do it, but yeah, we have Sparkling Rouge. This we will just block. We can play more than one Shiv a turn, but I will wait until Blade Dance. Once we get to the point where it's going to debuff us, we should think about how many Shivs we need to deploy. But until then, it is very free to just do the obvious thing. And this guy should just completely roll over and die now. You can see we are actually pretty strong. No reason to play this yet. Next turn we can think. I think we just go at least down to there. And this is obvious, and this is obvious, and then we can think. How many Shivs do we need to actually kill it? I think all 3 probably. We do have Powdered Demise, so maybe not actually. So it takes 9 more here, and then 9 from Powdered Demise. The next round was like 11. So it's 29. And then our Powdered Demise proc is 38. So at least 2 turns, probably all 3. Parrying shield. I think it's 1. That's just a vibe, but I think we need both of these. Could I have killed this turn if I'd played 1 Shiv last turn? That would be very funny if I just didn't do the math. It would have been +2. So, no. Okay, good. My vibe was correct, I guess. And notably, the Powder Demise goes after it hits me, so nothing changes there. Here's Abrasive with like no way to discard it. But we are very likely to click every Prepared, every Acro, every basically anything. Hidden Daggers, whatever. Tracking is quite good, but I would like to get Dexterity first and kind of solve our block. Our damage will come from Fumes and Phantom Blades just sort of sitting around. So I think I will speculate on Abrasive here and say we have enough money and the potion to keep us alive until then. Weird act, but I like that I see an early shop here. Here's Suppress. It's already green and we have no other weakness in the deck. That seems very good. Luminous is kind of cool. Silent really likes Luminous, but also really loves having Suppress, and it's a lot of damage for this deck that otherwise has no real front load. Okay. I don't really want to take a bunch of advanced hallways, and I think a very reasonable path here looks like to be this. If we say we can farm 3 elites, maybe, but it requires a bunch of advanced hallways to do that. And I think this is reasonably high value. Just want to see cards with Toxic Egg. You can say you want to farm more hallways, but I don't feel that comfortable. Not much to talk about here, just full block. No reason to ship in a bottle or anything yet until we see we're getting completely destroyed. I will play Piercing Will here, I think, because basically this fight just needs you to kill it, and Piercing Will does not do damage. So, just going to try and knock it owned. Fortunately, this Blade Dance card is a thing. And we should hold this ship for more damage next turn. But very easy to knock down. It's just dead. Very clean. Nothing to do. Accuracy is here. We can scale up our Blade Dance. Very nice. Also scales into later for maybe fixing Aeon Glass damage problems. So definitely something to think about. Suppress. No brainer. This is just block, and then we can think about accuracy versus Blade Dance. I think it's just accuracy. We have another shift card. This is the same as buying Strike, but you can make it happy. Anticipate kind of going in. Unfortunately, not making a whole lot of progress here, but parrying shield. Okay. Yeah, not much to do here. I have 2 ship cards. Ship in a bottle here. Blocks for full this turn. Next turn, unclear. Unlikely that it matters. I have a shop incoming, so I would like to just stay at high life, I think. We can replenish potions in this shore. Yeah, it does not block anything this turn. For better or for worse. There's a pot. Here is all my cards upgraded. Snakebite jumpstarts Fumes a little bit. It is green, so it's way more pickable than before if you say we lack boss damage, but I think with Abrasive and Accuracy Phantom Blades, we are not lacking that. I'd rather just take a front-loaded block thing to get my powers into play, I think. And actually, I have quite a few at this point, so Piercing Well. Okay, here's Footwork and Count Gamble. You can take the Ori with Toxic Egg. That is a huge consideration. And then still buy one of the 2 cards that I just mentioned. That sounds quite promising. And say that a whole Ori is probably worth more than one of these, right? Snakebite. Here's another Cloak Plus. Here's a Backflip. Blur. Macro. Okay. Yeah, I think this was solidly much better. I want a way to play this abrasive for free. This aggro is just in, and also cycles this back around to suppress, works with corrosive wave, works with really well with anticipate. Very, very good card to see here. I don't think I'm taking a snakebite for aforementioned reasons. We just don't have damage problems. Another cloak to work on accuracy better. Renewable shivs. Once blade ends is exhausted, we don't have that many of them, and just a really solid block card. Backflip as well. Solid block card. And I think also same deal, Blur. We can sort of just rely on the dexterity stuff. And here's where it gets more difficult. I think I'm skipping this. But Count Gamble draws us into the powers we already have and also discards Abrasive. So it works really well with a lot of these draw things. And works with Flick Flack, works with Corrosive Wave. I think it is very, very, very strong. Is Footwork stronger is the question. I don't actually think so. I think 2 dexterity with all of the block cards being green is enough for now. Maybe we will regret that later. But Sparkling Rouge and Abrasive and just being able to play your powers faster and draw into your cards that are like low cost, or at least cheat out your Abrasive is very important. We can also eventually set up some sort of loop with like Blur or hold this in our hands and discard Withers. It seems very, very powerful here. More so than Footwork even. And it comes green. Just excellent card. Okay. Backflip first and see. We could spend all our energy by playing Cloak and Daggers and stuff, but I think it's higher likelihood that we want to just find our powers. Unfortunately, this looks to be not very good. I kind of drew all my block here. But Count Gamble can at least draw us back around. And at this point, I don't think it's worth backflipping. The only thing we're really trying to draw into is Gamble. And if we draw into Phantom Blades or Accuracy, we're very upset. So I guess I could have played Anticipate for pairing shield, so that's -6. Yeah, this turn, can I kill? Yes, I take 5. That is fine. I do miss Phantom Blades though, but next turn we have this kicking in, and Fumes is starting to tick here. Okay. We'll go ahead and play Accuracy. We can sort of wipe here and then hold Gamble. This unfortunately does not actually do anything, right? We don't proc pairing shield. Okay, toss this Abrasive. Cycle back around. Unfortunately, we drew no block here. But I think we can kill here. And we can here. There's no lethal. Definitely just remember to check. Unfortunately, we were taking a lot here. But with Toxic Egg, we're afforded a lot of rest. We were not going to need a whole lot of upgrades. Yeah, not a whole lot of micros to talk about in this fight. Untouchable with the Acro and the Count Gamble that I just picked up? I don't think so. I think we've already added a lot of block cards at this point. Just going to try and draw into them. We want draw cards. And I don't want to run into a bunch of hallways here. You kind of see what they do to us. Okay, at this point it is worth looking at how many hits there are. My gut tells me that power is better here, but I want to just go through this thought process anyways to demonstrate it. And most of these powers are just going to be good for us. Ignore this. Wide Pan's excellent. Tracking excellent. After Image excellent. Tools Trade excellent. Abrasive excellent. Fumes fine. Footwork excellent. These both work. Accelerant would actually be fine here at this point. Infinite Blade's fine. Most things are fine here. I think that is not true of the 0 cost cards. They're okay, actually. I can see this being good as well. Because the nice thing here is that all the skills come green. So it does change the evaluation here a bit. I'm glad I looked. Prepared is way better. Escape Plan's very good. Expose is very good. Adrenaline's obviously insane. Even Grand Finale we could make work. Sidestep is excellent. Hidden Daggers comes green. This actually seems fine. I think the worst one is like Slice. Probably. Or Precise Cut. Even that's not horrible with the draw we just picked up though. So yeah. Actually, yeah, I would like this because it can be green. That is not excellent, but it is sort of energy cheat. That is horrible. Okay, we can be sad about what we missed here. Very upset. Let's move on with our lives. I will upgrade here first. This can be a rest site relic very often that like heals us when we do something, or rest to get potions or whatever. So I think I will just choose to upgrade probably accuracy and plan on resting. There's a couple relics that can own me here, but that's not one of them. Okay, that's extremely good. So we can discard Abrasive in our opening hand, as well as discarding Flick Flack in opening hand, and just drawing into the powers that matter. Just dig to your gamble, dig to your stuff. Really, really good. One of the best relics in the game for sure. Best thing we can see here, maybe. Or at least one of them. A couple of relics that can own you are like Whetstone and Warpaint. But if you upgraded power, there's no Whetstone Warpaint equivalent for powers. So you're not actually concerned about that. We will just rest here. Want to take a lot of fights. And need HP. Probably just assuming we're resting at the end of this act as well. Okay. Here is exactly what I was talking about. We don't want Whale on this turn. I'm going to also discard Strike. We're just trying to draw into powers to end this fight as fast as we can. We expect to take damage here. And the order of those discards do matter because they trigger in order, but there's no like skill being autoplayed or anything, so it shouldn't matter too much here. Okay. Anticipate into backflip. And then I'm down to just like blur this, play Phantom Blades. Can also play Survivor to store block next turn because Phantom Blades is less important now that accuracy is upgraded. Not even so clear that we are playing all our shift cards whenever we see them. These potions are essentially just Vuln Pots, like really mini Vuln Pots, and also just for the AoE fights. I do have Thorns, so I think I'm more inclined to sit around for a little bit here and have Parrying Shield do some work for us. And this also lets me play shift cards without really getting destroyed, right? And that's a lot of our damage. Here, I expect to get owned unless I draw into Whale, exactly. I can exact bottom deck, but then I can play Acro into it. You can play Corrosive Wave, but I don't think it's worth it. If you want to actually guarantee this, you can play Cloak and Dagger and gamble your shivs, which is probably worth it. This gamble draws 6, so we can play 1 to not shuffle out our second Cloak and Dagger. Play Piercing Whale. Can play Cloak here. It is positive. Anticipate into Cloak would not be, though. Okay, a little bit of damage taken. This guy should die the second we see any ship card, really. Fortunately, it is not here. I don't think we're killing until we see a ship card regardless, so we'll be fine. I would like to Acro here. There's a lot of good hits here. That is one of them. That looks like lethal to me. Guess I could play this in case it's not. It is not. Okay, probably should have slowed down a little bit here. We can play defend and then save our pot. Or I could have played Vuln Pot and just gone in a bit. But yeah. Had lethal here if I played the potion. Definitely should have. So -7 here. And I guess we keep a potion that can be used for something else. Egg. Okay, this Vuln Pot's just kind of better than this. So unfortunately, the potion is just a misplay. Sucker Punch here with Suppress is not really it. Against Aeon Glass or guys with Artifact, it can be an idea. And this potion can be kept for Aeon Glass to strip Artifacts so that Suppress can do something. That could have been a reason to not use the Vuln Potion as well, like keep both the Potion of Bindings. I think there's probably better things we can do than that, but we won't really know until I get to next act anyways. Yeah, so -7 overall, still okay. AoE fights, Sucker Punches, applying weakness, but I don't really want to spend energy on this. We have other things to do with energy, like play draw cards, or play Blur, play our powers. Doesn't really feel worth it. 30 Anticipate, definitely not. Ricochet. We do have some strength, but I think we're mostly scaling damage with shivs here, and I don't want to dilute the deck a bit more. Okay. Unfortunately, these hallways can be rather dangerous. Piercing Whale has definitely got this, though, so... Can consider tossing Blade Dance here. I think I will. Once we draw exactly into shift cards here, it doesn't really do much. Suppress on this guy may not have been correct. Because now he doesn't attack next turn. So we could have maybe done damage somewhere else and tried to kill, but overall I don't think it's too scary. I'll play Corrosive Wave here. It's a lot of AoE. I'm already full blocking. Can Acrobatics here and discard the Abrasive and do a lot. And they all die now. Okay, so yeah, I didn't really try to like plan around this Corrosive Wave, but it ended up becoming okay once we saw the Acro and whatnot. Not often that happens, but we'll take it. If you line up a big combo turn like that, it can be very good. It's just not often that happens. Okay. Infinite Blades is here. I don't think I really want another power. I'm down to click another Piercing Whale, though. Just more stuff that solves AoE fights, and we have Suppress for single target stuff. Okay. This fight, I want to hold Count Gamble for when they add statuses to my hand. So I don't really want to use it this turn. We don't need to anticipate, although it does proc Parrying Shield. I don't think that's very relevant. I think these are the not relevant cards. Okay. Unfortunately, here is Corrosive Wave. So we can think about using Count Gamble just for that. I don't think we should. I think once we get powers down, we're okay. The question is, who do we kill first? This much is very obvious. Just do that. And now we can use this for Parrying Shield, play Blade Dance, and then direct all our damage towards one guy. This one has less HP, and next turn we have these statuses covered. So I think I would try to avoid the next round of statuses because I can gamble these away. Can also play them. We can do like Blur, Cloak, Gamble. That will block quite a bit. Redrawing the Toxics is definitely a consideration because without playing Fumes, I don't know how easy it is to get out of here. Especially if we're not leaving energy open to play any powers. We kind of drew all our shivs before any powers were down, unfortunately. So I could see taking a little bit here. Just take 1. 2 to play this. We're doing 8 damage. That's correct. Unfortunately, drawing this now is kind of sad, but it is okay. Can draw and discard and then play the Anticipate first here. Unfortunately, discarding this means that we can draw into the Toxics again. But I think I am willing to risk that. Okay. We did not play really any powers here. What we can do is play Cloak. Or we can play Accuracy and take a lot. Or I can also play Whale, but I think Anticipate into Cloak makes the most sense here. And the Toxics, now we're not super terrible. This will die next turn. Luckily, you can actually block these Toxics, so don't get completely destroyed. Here looks pretty nice. We can just Blur, play the Toxic, and the fight should be stable from here. Okay, we take 3, but that is very, very acceptable. I don't think I had lethal there. It's possible I did. Prepared is here. We'll instantly click that. I probably should explain a little bit, but the other 2 cards next to it are just not doing anything. Prepared Upgraded is an insanely good card, and discards Abrasive, discards any statuses later that we really need to be playing around. One of the best commons for sure. All right, Duplicator. I think I would keep this around for aforementioned Aeon Glass reasons. And we run in here and plan on resting in the next fight. Okay, Whale is here. So I think that just is full blocking essentially this whole turn. It's not literally full blocking, but close enough. So we can try to dig into powers here a bit more. I don't really want to play Prepared here because I'm going to most likely play Count Gamble. This whole hand is getting played. Unless I want to discard something like this. But these 2 cards are getting played. And I guess we can like try to cheat it out Abrasive. Seems fine. Let's go ahead and draw first. Okay, we can take 1, which I think is good. And then we just get to play powers. The question is what's power? Because we can just play this now. But I think I'd rather just play Phantom Blades here. And I guess we take 0 if we do this. Yeah, Phantom Blades is just a little bit more damage later. Over a couple turns. Blade Dance is more damage up front. 16 damage here is pretty relevant to maybe try and kill next turn. And we do have an accuracy. So I think I'm down to rush here and try to stabilize the fight. We also have Count Gamble to draw into said accuracy. And we've deployed Fumes already, so going a bit longer is okay here. Another Piercing Will, great. Corrosive Wave into Count Gamble seems very clear here. And now we can flip again. Blocks a little bit. Fortunately, no well-laid plans, but that is a lot of AoE. So yeah, kind of just playing a little short-sighted here, but I think it's allowed in this fight. I'm not really deploying all my powers as I see them. We're just kind of being a little bit greedy here, but that's dead next turn. Could have left it, but yeah, everything's gonna die basically. We just need to focus on this. Can just block, strike here. Should be very, very chill. Corrosive Wave performing better than expected, but this is usually the case with transform cards, as they can sort of pop off. Okay, Bowler Hat, money. We did it. Master Planner is way too slow entirely. Memento Mori had a really cool Perfect Fit Memento Mori run recently, but this is not that run. Vuln Potion worse than this for reasons described before. Okay. You're very confident, you can click upgrade here, and the upgrade would just be on a power, or maybe Corrosive Wave. I do not feel like I need to do that. I think we're in a very good spot if I just don't die here and conserve resources, so I don't want to have to use potions here. Okay, Abrasive is here. We can toss probably 2 cards. Anticipate into both of these is full block, guaranteed. Which I think I'm fine doing. We'll just draw and see. Something here. Okay. I care way more about the right side being weakened here for the big hit. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, even though it technically takes more damage this turn. Obviously, we're full blocking, but yeah, way more important that this guy's weakened here. And here's pretty obvious. No reason to really play strikes. Let's just go ahead and rush this guy down. I don't imagine we'll take too much in this fight in general. We're pretty well equipped. Corrosive Wave into Acro and then into a Whale would solve. Also, we can hit the Gamble High Roll here. I'm willing to push damage a bit. Okay, we do not hit it. Here's Piercing Whale, full blocking though. Means we miss a power, but seems pretty worth it. Stay turned this way. It's weakened. We got quite a bit of poison down. Can always just face tank this in the absolute worst case. Here's Cloak. You can gamble here and discard Shivs. I think it's fine. We just want to block this hit. And those are not so bad to draw into later on. Okay. I don't think I need to play Phantom Blades here. We're just going to let Fumes do its thing. And just focus on blocking here. Okay, let's Acro first. I don't think there's any reason not to. Not spending our energy this turn. Always anticipates. No reason not to. And probably just weaken left here. Just a turn, because I'm not taking... We're not full blocking without it. In this case now, we can store a little bit of block for this to compensate for the fact that I did not weaken it. And we can also try to redraw into the weakness as well. I can see Corrosive Wave here, 4 poison AoE is not so bad. And we're basically full blocking with Whale here. Do I blur over Cloak? Did not play Phantom Blades yet. I think I just blur. And you can see the poison ticking up here. We should be very okay. Just gonna go ahead and draw here. Suppresses here. We have lethal here. Okay, perfect. We got the The pairing shield hit him. Here's Piercing Whale. Anticipate, just play hand. We can hold on to this. Take one. So we would have been fine without resting, but again, I think it's worth it in case we just break some horrible draw order. So, okay. From playing this, I think there's a few things that should become very obvious here, and we'll talk about this card selection in a second. Deck has problems playing all the powers, right? So something like Abrasive to cheat out a power for free is very good. But Silent just struggles to make energy. If we can see any energy generation or a fourth energy from a boss relic here, it's very good. We're kind of looking for ways to just get powers down, and once we do, we're relatively okay, especially with a little bit of dex, permanent weakness, green blocks. We block for quite a bit. I think Well-Laid Plans, even though it is the nerf Well-Laid Plans now, is still incredibly, incredibly strong. Lines up all our combos, always lets us cheat out Abrasive. And this would be a premium upgrade target, which we are allowed to give because of the fact that we have Toxic Kick. So I think this is just Windmill Slam Well-Laid Plans. Even with this nerf, is still probably one of the best cards in the entire game. These are very, very strong if you say we don't have draw issues, but I think against Queen and such, we will really want this. Okay, it is the Queen and test subject. There is no Aeon Glass here. I actually feel like we're pretty well equipped against Aeon Glass, so I wasn't super concerned. I don't really love Act 3 events a whole lot. And I think if we are going to go through an Act 3 event, we want the shop to be afterwards so we can like remove a curse or something from a horrible situation. There is also this idea to where you can take this Elite and then take one shop in the act. Unfortunately, going through the shop kind of forces you into another shop here. Or you can take this. But I would like extra fires here. I want the Well-Laid Plans green. That's like the most important thing to have happen here. So I think this should happen. The question is, how do we get max value? I guess we can click the relic first and see what this is. Fiddle is here. With Calc Gamble Acro Prepared Backflip. I do not think this Fiddle is that good, unfortunately. And with Corrosive Wave, it kind of shuts down a lot of the really good turns we can have. I do not mind just kind of having this on silent, I think, and removing a ton of cards and sort of playing a smaller looping deck because strikes are just awful cards here. And we can do something where we sort of kind of loop like Corrosive Wave into Acro. Removes with Pyramid is really good, and we just added Pyramid. So I think we just take our 3 removes here and get rid of every strike. Removes of the shop are also now very good. Dupe deck is very okay, actually. Basically, every card is green. Any skill that was not green before, including Corrosive Wave, will be duped and then upgraded. So we can turn like all of these defends, all the base cards green. Essentially APO on the whole deck. And we have 2 Well-Laid Plans. So getting Well-Laid Plans upgraded before that would be cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but we could try. I think at least we do this, and then we kind of adapt and see. I always want to shop with this much money, and we're going to have more with Bowler Hat. So probably just this, and then find out if we want to do the second shop, or we want to do this shop, and see what happens from there. Okay, we can always get rid of this if we want. We don't need to. I think with Calc Gamble in my hand, I'm just going to toss it. Okay. Suppress is always played. Go ahead and eliminate that idea. I would imagine that I want to play Blade Dance into Corrosive Wave into Calc Gamble. And just blast this guy with 1,000,000 poison. Okay. We can Acro here. Maybe we can discard Abrasive. I can miss Well-Laid Plans. That is okay. That is better than playing Fumes. It's just faster damage. Unfortunately, we brick this turn quite a bit, but I can Well-Laid Plans. Play you. This fight is not so easy. Double Anticipate into Blur here is quite nice. Just store up a ton of block. We don't actually need to play these shivs. We can just hold them. And now with Accuracy, we get quite a bit more. Can fish for some other stuff. First, we can go ahead and get rid of these. This looks like lethal to me. Okay, Distilled Chaos is here. Calc Gamble 2. Really, really good. With Pyramid especially. Distilled Chaos is probably stronger than Potion of Binding. It's more likely that we just hit stuff and also puts things into play that are very expensive to play. With this kind of small deck and Pre-made, we have a lot of control about what's in our reshuffles. We can hold cards and then intentionally play our best cards with the top 3 pot. So I think this is very clear here. Piercing Whales here. I think we can consider holding and defend. It doesn't full block, but it's very close. I think I'm down to just toss everything. The main reason being that I just want to dig into powers because this fight doesn't really get better over time. It gets kind of worse. I'm going to Acro first and see. If we hit Corrosive Wave or, yeah, Abrasive, then things get a little bit better. This is, like, always played, and this is always played, I assume. We have more Piercing Whales incoming, so we can think about sort of just hitting here, I think. And maybe with the Corrosive Wave Count Gamble idea, we can like do that twice or something. Hold a bunch of cards and burst. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare it first. Nobody doesn't have 2 Count Gambles in hand because you'll discard 1. Don't think that's getting used. I think we were just playing hand. And pairing shield value. Maybe it does something. Thank you. Piercing Whale is full block, and then we can just sort of gamble away Flick Flack. And this should be fight over. That will die to Thorns, actually. Sidestep, insane for playing a bunch of powers. This card is very good and it comes green. Silent has basically no energy generation except Adrenaline in this, and she didn't really have this before. You have Tactician as well, but it's very unreliable. This deck can actually take Tactician, but yeah, basically just trying to not get destroyed here. That was a misclick, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Play Dance into Abrasive here. Meant to just play Prepared there. Might cost me a little bit here. I have more Piercing Whales, so I don't mind doing this, but still doesn't full block, unfortunately, and we didn't play any powers. Okay, Piercing Whales here. Extra energy this turn. Would like Piercing Whale in the future, so because I can block normally, I will do so. Unfortunately, I think this misplay on turn 1 makes this fight probably take us damage. This is like kind of hard to get under control with what just happened. So we still kill with just accuracy, I believe. Is that true? 11? This is 9 damage. So does 11. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I could definitely see just top 3 here because of this misplay. We hope we hit block cards. Quite weird what just happened there. There's really unfortunate targeting as well, but we draw into another Shiv, so that's okay. Quite hard to get these powers in play, as you can see. But that's what this card is good for. Yeah, pretty unfortunate here. That probably cost me an elite, I would imagine. Killing the minions and getting the fight under control is relatively difficult. This is very Reptomancer-esque. That was also a misclick, but fortune doesn't matter in this case. Oh, I should have put this here, actually. It's okay. So I should be fine now. We've gotten enough powers down. and Pyramid is deployed. That's usually a pretty good sign for the fight being okay. But yeah, it costs us a potion here, which is not great. Second sidestep, I don't think so. I don't really want any of these. I think our damage is fine. We just need to put powers in play. And one sidestep is enough, especially with the removes that we have. Okay. I want to shop earlier because of that misplay. We'll just always transform here. I don't want to be paying HP for basically nothing. We have no cards I want to enchant here. Backstab is fine, just a free remove basically. We can gamble it away on turn 1. Okay, here is a shop earlier than expected, which does let us do some funny stuff. First things first, I just want a potion. But this shop is not super exciting. I could very easily see just moving on to the next one. Duplicating Suppress is pretty interesting, but I don't think it's good enough. There's no Anglass, so the weakness actually just doesn't really matter. Like, there's no artifact, essentially. Applying weakness in multiple phases of test subject is a thing, but we can sort of just exhaust cards and get down to a looping sort of deck. I think I'm down to just move on here and see what's in the next shop and not spend gold. I do want the pot, but this is also not really anything. Shops brick in a row, no real relics. Discovery is interesting here. Card remove is interesting. If you want to double remove, that is pretty strong, but I think I really just want Well-Laid Plans green. And so I want to buy a bit more power. We could also just dodge every elite here. I think if we get Well-Laid Plans green and we're full HP and we walk into the boss gauntlet with this deck, we should win. So I think I will go ahead and leave and move again. I don't think I'm removing 2 cards, but I will double shop for sure. Or triple shop, I guess. This is also a relic that does literally nothing. Maybe there's a waffle or something. Okay, here's bread. That is very, very good. We have Gambling Chip to help cover turn 1. There's also Prolong and Potions with it. And Leg Sweep even. But bread means our turn 1 is going to be rather painful. Test subject, that's not really a problem, but that definitely makes me want to just sort of run away from the elites, I should say. But that fixes our output in long fights. We had huge energy problems, and now we no longer have them, so very good. Potion probably over any cards here. Leg Sweep is pretty cool, but not needed. Prolong is very strong, but also just not needed, I think. We just need to focus on covering turn 1, and Skill Pot is covering turn 1, as well as Duplicator. So I think here I will just rest. And we can plan on double resting as well. I imagine turn 1 here is not going to be great. As expected, you know, we kind of get destroyed, but that's okay. Anticipate's great. Not as destroyed as you might think. And now every fight after, I basically play Pyre on turn 1. Not much to talk about here. We have a lot of extra energy now. Here, we could raw play Abrasive. I think I will not do that. We'll just blur up for this turn. And now we can just sort of Corrosive Wave into flip. Or gamble. And just discard, draw as many cards as possible. You can see now that once we get down to sort of playing all our powers, the deck is super tiny, and then this sort of like looping strategy gets really strong. I don't have blur. I don't know why I play this, but the fight should be very stable. With Pyramid, I feel extremely, extremely safe. And Piercing Whale also exhausts, so we're going to get down to a point where we can just sort of do this. And every turn we play this, and we sort of go exponential. Very nice. Deflect on turn 1 is cool. After that, not really, because you have extra energy. I just kind of want to play my cards. Okay, unfortunately we get a fight, but this fight does not hit us on turn 1, which was their mistake. I would like to draw into Well-Laid Plans. So I think we can keep this. Just toss everything else. It's also pretty good. Just try to kill here. And strip artifact, I guess. Could have maybe held gamble, but I wanted to draw into any power there, really. Corrosive Wave doing way more work than expected. Fumes is just too slow in this fight. And we will rest for this bit of damage that we've taken. I think this act, a really important takeaway here is just not wasting gold. We have like multiple shops, right? And I didn't spend any money in 2 stores. And then the one shop I walk into, I buy something that like wins the run. And I think a lot of people are really tempted to just buy the thing like right away. And it's just gonna cost you. Fire Potion is not relevant for the bosses. Untouchable is energy cheat, and on turn 1 it's good. Outside of that, I don't want it. Test Subject I think is pretty scary. Could think about Accelerant for that fight. I just need phase 1 solved, and I think maybe Duke Pot is just enough. So don't think we need this. We will stabilize basically every fight after a few turns. Probably at turn 2 or 3 is where stuff is getting really good. We just need to get to our well-laid plans. This fight I expect to take some damage. Well-laid plans is here. Which is always played. Okay. Yeah, I just expect to take this damage here. I'm gonna just hold all this now. And we say that this is the price we pay for this fight. I can see just gambling here. Maybe anticipate into like this. Really want to be able to play some cards here. Like Sidestep wants to be played really badly. Then next turn we can sort of just go in. This is the power of a mid. Yeah, we can sort of just play whole hand now and blur up. And then we will die to this. Now next turn is completely safe. We are big chilling. Go ahead and fill hand back up with Acro. Don't really need to play that. Can save it for a turn where there's more output required. We already mostly blocked this turn. So with a mid, you just need to be careful not to just waste output randomly. Go ahead and let that exhaust, I guess. I don't know why they put well-laid plans into the game as its current state, costing 0 on upgrade. But you can see the 2-cost one is still plenty strong. When you upgrade it to 1, it's just ridiculous. Okay. Really just setting up a bigger turn here. And we should kill this quite easily. I think the burns can be annoying in the next phase. But realistically, that's not going to be an issue at all. It will sort of just die before that's a problem. We can do this Corrosive Wave into Count Gamble thing again, and we save weakness in our hand. So, very good. Forgot to play that, but it should not matter. Go ahead and just blur up here. Not much to talk about in terms of micro currently. We can maybe reach blur again, even though this turn doesn't hit us, we can drop back into it. This is kind of the power of a small looping deck, which this fight will brick us now, but it's a little too late, I think. Don't want to use Gamble yet. We can wait to get rid of maybe these burns or something. Or is this turn where we make no progress? And I would like to make progress. Maybe reach blur again as well. See all these burns here, but the deck is so good I don't think it really matters. Unfortunately, we exact bottom deck blur. but that's okay. More than chilling here. And you can see Bread sort of output solving for us really nicely. Hold out of damage cards, it will die next turn. Very cool. We just sort of know how much HP we need to spend with the Bread at the beginning of each fight, and we have enough of it to get through it. Still sitting on all our pots here. This, I do not care about backstab at all. I also don't really care about Phantom Blades anymore or Corrosive Wave. We'll just do stuff to get the fight going. And yeah, like you can see, this guy hits pretty hard on turn 1 now. But we have exactly this to cover. I don't mind just another Acro in the deck. I don't think any of these really do all that much. Maybe we get, yeah, Wall-Eyed Plans. So from here, we can essentially play Wall-Eyed Plans and then take this 24 to the face and never take damage again. That's the idea. So hopefully I'm not wrong about that. But I assume that that's just true. Let's play this, get some output ready. We have Wall-Eyed Plans, Piercing Whales, so we should never really be in danger now. Just need to get set up to the point where we can always kind of answer whatever Queen does. And realistically, the easiest thing to do is just stack a bunch of poison before we kill the minion. And then we don't have to sit in this fight for very long. I would like to save a Piercing Whale for her multi-attack, and then I think that's all we're going to need to do. So really just trying to draw into powers here and just exhaust the deck down as much as we can. Piercing Whale is obviously a good redraw as discussed. So not going to spend too much in terms of like just exhausting these down, but everything else can go. It does get relatively dangerous to play Gamble or anything here. So we might slow down a little bit here because I need to be sure that when I have a hand like this, that I'm not going to screw myself like the next turn, basically. So I can pay another 3 here. No reason to really have another cut gamble. It's actually good to just draw into the second one. Yeah, I don't want to draw without Whale in my hand. If I can ever break that, that becomes relatively dangerous. Although here I think it's pretty impossible to break. So we can just gamble and then try to exhaust this Folly in the backstab and the sidestep or whatever. We should easily draw back into cards we need. Okay, still have Duplicator. Piercing Whale, just full blocks. Can Corrosive Wave and just sort of go in. Maybe should have done that before the flip. But we can just like blur up a bit. Make sure that Queen has weekend. Try to set up a bit of a barricade. Don't actually want to kill. We can dupe pot blur at this point. Just really checking to make sure that I'm not dead to some random crap. Fortunately, do not hit sidestep here. Oh, we do. Okay. I do not hit blur though, which is fine. I'd like to shuffle this out, I think. Okay, next turn we have whale, and then we can blur as well. Should be very, very safe. Something like this. And just sort of exhaust the blade dance. Make some progress. I should have potted blur. If I die, it's because of that. But I assume we need to draw back into it before it matters again. She should be very, very dead here. Yep, pretty chill. Basically didn't need this pot. Okay, very cool. Went exactly as planned. And that kind of shows, again, you just know that you need the HP as a resource, path accordingly, rest up, and spend. We could have definitely played these fights a little bit cleaner, like queen for sure. Saved a bit more HP. I don't think the margin's that tight. You can play better lines, but I was pretty confident that we didn't need to play perfectly, especially once Well-Led Plans is down. And we drew at turn 1. And you can see, like, the second we draw Well-Led Plans in the queen fight, we basically stop taking damage unless we want to or knowingly make some sort of concession. That's pretty much exactly what happened. As long as you know that the goal of the deck is to exhaust down, and then exhausting down creates a very, very strong deck with the removes from the Fog and the Well-Laid Plans, then you're able to identify that and win pretty easily. But yeah, cool run. Early game was pretty weird. I think Act 1 is actually relatively difficult, like Phantom Blades, whatever. It was very speculative. It got bought before anything else was in the deck. And it turned out to be pretty important. By the time we hit endgame, didn't matter as much. Accuracy is a better power in the endgame, but Phantom Blades was very important early and carried for quite a long time. So very happy with that pickup. All right, leave any questions you have in the comments and I'll try to get back to you all. Obviously didn't do this live like the last one, so there was no live questions, but hopefully this is still like pretty appropriate pacing and felt good to watch. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.